Hello and welcome to another KipwareXC presentation video. In this video we're going to demonstrate a little bit about the profiles in KipwareXC. This actual demonstration came from a request from a customer of ours who has a post processor that outputs a standard FNUC style program. But he has some older machines in the shop. One of them requires that the program coordinates have no decimal points and leading zeros. And the other machine requires no decimal points, no leading zeros, just standard no decimal point format. On the machine with the leading zeros, also the x-axis is a radius designation rather than a diameter designation. And his post processor outputs a diameter for the x value. So let's just take a quick look at the program and kind of show you what the program is doing and what the format looks like. If we do a quick plot of the program, you can see that it's doing a kind of a bowl shape inside. So what it's doing is it's roughing with a facing type of format to rough out the material, then coming through and doing a profile cut of the radius of the part. If we take a look at the format of the program, you can see it's a standard FNUC format, X and Z's. They have decimal points. The last line here, which does the profile for the ID radius, actually uses an R designation. And again, his machine uses an I and K. So what we're going to need to do in order to transform this program into a format that's compatible with his machine is we're going to have to take the X values, make them radiuses, have to take out the decimal points, and have to add the leading zeros, and then we're going to take this R format and convert it to I and K. So we're just going to start up KipwareXC and show you how you can do that inside of KipwareXC. So here we are in KipwareXC. And we're going to use a feature inside of XC that's very powerful where we can use a primary profile and a secondary profile. And in KipwareXC, the profile is basically what tells the software what to convert into what. And what we're going to use with the primary and secondary is we're going to do some math functions first with the primary profile. And then once all the math is done, we're going to go through and remove the decimal points and put in the leading zeros. So I have a primary profile already created for this, so let's just take a look at this. We call it leading zeros 1. And the profile inside of KipwareXC is a mixture of user-defined conversion options and predefined conversions options. So we have a lot of things built into the software where the user can just select things you want to do. In this case, using the arc conversion options, we're going to take that R and we're going to convert it to incremental I and K. So what we're doing with the R is changing it to I and K, and this is one of the predefined options that you can select. And in the lathe options, we're going to take the X values and convert them to radius. So those two things are going to be done inside this particular profile. And let's just show you how that works. We're going to browse for the file that we want to convert. And then we've got the profile selected, so we're going to hit lathe convert. And basically the software is going to go through and do that work for us. So you can see the X values now are radius values. They still have the decimal points, but they're radius values. And if we take a look at that GO3 line at the bottom, we've converted that to I and K. So this is a standard format program now where we have no R's, we have I's and K's, and we have X as a radius value. To go a step further, we're going to load the secondary profile, which is leading zeros 2. And if we take a look at that secondary profiles, we're doing some decimal conversion options. So we're telling the software that we need leading zeros once we remove the decimal points. And then we can specify the letter address and whether or not we want to remove or add a decimal point. So once this program is converted, we can also create a profile and go the other way and add the decimal points back in, make X the diameter again. So in this kind of a combination, you could go back and forth between those two machines. You could go into your FNUC format, convert it to the older machine format. You could also take an older machine program and convert it back to a FNUC format where you do have decimal points and you do have X as a diameter value. But in this particular case, we're going to remove the decimal points from the X, Z, and F, and then the R, I, and K. Of course, the R is already gone, but we built that into the profile anyway. So the I and K should have the decimal points removed. Now, the beauty part about the primary and secondary profile is it's going to do it all at once. In the first example I showed you, we just converted the X and the I and K. Here, when I press lathe convert, we're going to go through the program. Now we have leading zeros. You can see there's Z value, which is 0741. We've put in the two leading zeros at the beginning. And if we take a look all the way down to the I and K's, we've done that as well. So we've converted the program in one swoop from diameter to X, radius, R to I and K, and then we did the decimal conversions to put in the leading zeros. So I'd also like to demonstrate how we can take that formatted program with the leading zeros and the radius X and I and K and convert it back to the standard format that we started with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the lathe convert. And here's the program that we've created. Now leading zeros, I and K, no decimal points. I'm going to save this program. And then I'm going to create a profile and bring it back to the other format. So I'm going to remove these two. I'm going to make a primary profile here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the decimal options first before I go through and do the math. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take X, I'm going to add a decimal point, Z, add a decimal point, F, add a decimal point, I, and K. So this is going to give me all my decimal points back into the program. I'm going to save this profile as reverse 1. Then I'm going to create another profile in which I'm going to convert X to diameter. And then I'm going to take the incremental I and K and I'm going to convert that to R. So in this particular case, even say an Okuma machine which requires L, although you could just leave the I and K for most machines, just to kind of give you a demonstration of how the software works. We're going to take that incremental I and K and we're going to convert it to letter address R. I'm going to save this profile as reverse 2. And now I'm going to load those profiles. So I'm going to get reverse 1 as my primary. I'm going to get reverse 2 as my secondary, and then I'm going to go browse for that file that I created, that test file, and then I'm going to do the conversion. So again, we're demonstrating here that one purchase of KipwareXC, you can create as many different profiles as you need to be able to go between the formats of the machine on the shop floor. So in this case, we're taking an older style program with no decimal points and radius X, and we're converting it to a current style FNUC format. Again, using the primary and secondary profile. So if I hit lathe convert, you can see my program's gone back to the way it was pretty much. X and Z have decimal points. We've got the leading zeros are still in there, but it's the machine is still going to function perfectly fine with those in there. And what we've done is we've taken that incremental I and K and we've put it back to the R format. So KipwareXC is a very powerful program. You can make as many different profiles as you want, which means you have a lot of functionality between the machines on the shop floor. The beauty part about doing this rather than some kind of hand edits is that the software is not going to make any mistakes. It's going to be consistent. It's going to give you the same conversion all the time. So if you do anything on the shop floor where you find yourself doing it over and over again, the same type of conversion or the same type of program edits, KipwareXC is a very powerful option to reduce errors or to make that process a little bit more streamlined. Also, we're demonstrating here how we can use it as a post processor. So we've got a CAD/CAM program. It's outputting standard style FNUC format using a FNUC post. KipwareXC will allow you to take that formatted program and change it between all the machines in the shop. So you don't have to go buy a different post or configure a different post. You can do KipwareXC and it gives you the power to go back and forth between those two machines. Thank you for your interest.